And the question was asked, who is the weakest character in Tekken? Who has been the weakest character in the entire Tekken series? Well, we're gonna go through a couple of them and find out. And once again, people, we are talking about the lore, not player skill. A skill gamer can use any character and whoop Akuma. That's skill, that's player skill, not lore. We're talking about the story mode. So who are the characters in question? I've got two in mind. The first one I'm gonna go with is Miharu. First appeared in Tekken 4, then in Tekken Tag 2, Xiaoyu's friend. Now, why is she considered one of the weakest characters? Simple. Young, lacks any experience, has 0 feats, has done absolutely nothing canon in any canon game or in the story. She was just basically a palette swap in Tekken 4, basically given all of Xiaoyu's moves. But we know that she is not as strong as Xiaoyu. Why? She didn't have Master Wang training her. So clearly she's not as good as Xiaoyu. Plus she has no notable victories. With these points alone, she must be considered one of the weakest characters in Tekken. And probably the number one character, which would be considered the weakest character in Tekken, out of the entire series, we're gonna go with Lucky Chloe. And why is that? Again, young, lacks any fighting experience, not even really using a real fighting technique. You got masters, you got people who have mastered Bruce Lee style, cyborgs, robots, then you've got a little girl dancing. Right, she would get absolutely demolished, okay? And we're just using simple common sense and logic. Consider this, see her fighting a Brian Fury, and in the middle of the match, she's like, 1, 2, what do you think Brian Fury's gonna do? He's gonna take her head off. But wait, didn't she whoop Eddie's ass? Wouldn't that make her strong? People, we do not know what chapter endings are canon, and you won't know until Tekken 8. But what we do know is both these characters at the same ending, so most likely one of these happened, and I think Eddie's ending happened. But either way, Eddie, you have literally the worst ending in any Tekken. That's literally the worst ending ever. So what did she do here? I think Eddie beat her, then she outsmarted Eddie. And how did she do this? By scribbling on a piece of paper, then running off. Making Eddie look like a complete goofball. But scribbling on a piece of paper, is that an actual feat? Nah. So that's nothing concrete, nothing you can use in her defense. So she's probably the number one weakest because one, young, inexperienced, has no notable victories, no feats, and she is not exactly a real fighter. And I mean, if you want to include these other two, Sebastian, who was a guest character in Tekken Tag, shouldn't really count, but if you want to include it, he should be in there as well. Dr. B, once again, that's if you want to include these characters. Either way, all these characters mentioned are the weakest characters in Tekken. Or do you think otherwise? In fact, give me your top 3. Who are your top 3 weakest characters in Tekken? And remember, you're looking for characters with little fighting experience, 0 feats, and no notable victories. Who are they?